110 years in the life of a church body such as the Nigerian Baptist Convention is an appropriate time for reflections, stock-taking, appraiser and reappraiser in the light of the current situation. On Wednesday, 11th March 1914, the Nigerian Baptist Convention, known at inception as the Yoruba Baptist Association, was born in the auditorium of Idikon Baptist Church in the historic city of Ibadan. The nucleus of the Nigerian Baptist Convention was formed to serve as a unifying forum and rallying point of all Nigerian Baptists, then largely concentrated in Yoruba land, Western Nigeria.
There was already a split, the missionary Baptist churches and the indigenous people Baptist churches. So the missionaries felt that their work had collapsed if there was no cooperation between them and the indigenous believers. The effort to become one was what led them to Idikon.
In 1914, they met on March 11 at First Baptist Church, Idikon, Ibadan. They did not come under the name Nigerian Baptist Convention. They were called Yoruba Baptist Association.
Because almost for the first 50 years of Baptist work in Nigeria, it remained in Yoruba land alone. It was this Yoruba Baptist Association of 1914 that now metamorphosed into the Nigerian Baptist Convention.
A convention holding in Ogbomoso, that was where they now changed their name from Yoruba Baptist Association to Nigerian Baptist Convention.
The genesis of Baptist enterprise in Nigeria is traceable to the year 1850 when the nursery of Baptist work was prepared by missionaries of the Southern Baptist Convention, USA. The pioneer missionary Thomas Jefferson Bowen arrived in the country in 1850, passing through Badagry before proceeding to Abeokuta, where he stayed for 18 months, studying Yoruba language, from where he ventured inland to plant the first station in Ijayorile.
He was the first missionary to come. Coming in through Badagry, his movement took him to Ijayorile, started the church work there, and the wars brought about the dispersion of the people.
So First Baptist Church, Ijayorile, happened to be the first Baptist church in Nigeria, which was started by Bowen and his wife.
In 1913, Reverend S.G. Pinnock of the American Mission Baptist succeeded in getting the three Lagos area, that is, First Baptist Church, Ebenezer Baptist Church, and Araromi Baptist Church, to agree to have a conference for future cooperation of independent and mission churches.
Baptists began through the missionary efforts in establishing the First Baptist Church, Lagos.
An inaugural meeting chaired by Reverend S.G. Pinnock, Dr. Mojola Agbebi of the Native Church was elected as the foundation president of the newly united Baptist body.
Agbebi was one of our very early pastors and served as one of the early presidents of our Nigerian Baptist Convention.
The name Nigerian Baptist Convention, as it is known today, referred to both the Baptist denomination in Nigeria and its annual meetings. It takes the umbrella body, pivot, anchor, or the central rallying point under which churches in Nigeria are organized.
The Nigerian Baptist Convention came into being when there was a fracas, a schism at First Baptist Church, Lagos.
Therefore, the coming together was intentional to create a national body that will bring the whole Baptist people who were kind of in an independent state. So to bring them together under one umbrella called the Nigerian Baptist Convention, first called Yoruba Baptist Association.
At the annual session, Baptists from all nooks and crannies of Nigeria gather in one city to celebrate the denominational unity, network with one another, encourage the faithful, deepen the spiritual life of members, and encourage as well as strengthen the local church in its mission.
They spread from Ogbomoso to the rest of Nigeria, to Kaduna in the north, and later to east. The Lord helped them to spread.
In the northern part of the country, we have so many churches well over 100 years. And how did the work spread? It spread mainly through the traders and the civil servants that moved from the southern part to the northern part of the country. There was one, Amakri, who was from Buguma. Amakri was a great friend of Mojola Agbibi, and with his friend Amakri, they went to Rivers State and they began evangelistic work.
He started in that earlier 19th century in the River State axis, more particularly around Buguma area. And he came to the Owerri province in 1906 or 8. The Baptist Church of Obinze, the first Baptist church within the Eastern Land. Because from there we have the church established in another community close to Obinze called the Ihiagwa Baptist Church. And what was really driving the Baptist work then was mission and school. The way the academic works impacting the life of the younger children that were growing then was actually a great facilitator to the growth of the Baptist work.
Baptists believe in biblical authority, autonomy of local church, priesthood of all believers, 2 ordinances, individual soul liberty, saved and baptized church membership, 2 offices of the church, separation of church and state. One of the most distinctive features of Baptists is the autonomy of the local church.
When we are talking about the Baptist church autonomy, there are so many people who think that autonomy means we can just do whatever we like. That is not so. That is chaos. If all the churches do whatever they like, then why are we coming together? There is no way you can come together for anything and you will not have some guidelines of your coming together so that you will all be serious at it.
After years of having the missionaries at the helm of affairs, in 1964, the Nigerian Baptist Convention produced the first indigenous general secretary in person of Dr. J.T. Ayorinde.
Reverend J.T. Ayorinde, who was pastor of First Baptist Church, Lagos, became the first Nigerian general secretary.
From Ayorinde, the leadership of the Baptist Convention has been a progressive one.
Upon the retirement of Dr. Ayorinde in 1975, Reverend Dr. Emmanuel Ajayi Dansi assumed office as the second general secretary of the convention, served for a period of 4 years, from 1975 to 1979.
Dr. Dansi took over from Dr. Ayorinde. Now, Dr. Dansi was a very strong academic. He was extremely brilliant. Also, he was pastor of First Baptist Church, Lagos. The days of Dr. Dansi, he encouraged pastors going back to school. So that's one thing that we cannot forget about Dr. Dansi. That was the time when you will see elderly people wearing short knicker, going back to secondary school, reading, because he insisted you needed to pass your GCE, you must pass your WAEC, and many pastors took advantage of that. I would say Dansi's time influenced us a lot. Now, Dansi died in a motor accident on his way to Ogbomoso to see his wife who was sick and was at the Baptist hospital in Ogbomoso. And as he went, 1979, he died on his way to Ogbomoso. Therefore, the period of Dansi came to an end while he was still in office.
Reverend Dr. Samuel Titilola Akande was the third general secretary of the convention. He served between 1979 to 1991 before he became the general secretary, and he has served as the president of the convention between 1977 and 1979.
When Dansi was the general secretary, the president of the convention was Dr. S.T. Olakande. When Dr. Dansi, the academic man, now left, then the period of Dr. S.T. Olakande now came. And Dr. S.T. Olakande was very concerned. He loved academics too, but he was very concerned about welfare. That was his major area of concentration. He was the one that introduced us working with the government salary scale. So they brought a harmony between the Baptist salary scale and the government salary scale.
Akande laid the foundation for what by the grace of God we are all enjoying today. He is responsible for instance, scheme of service that we have today. He has done so much in that area that pastors today at least are not in any way feeling inferior to their counterparts that are working in the civil service.
Now, the house Akande built, that is the house Dr. Fadeji came to live in. That's the house Dr. Solomon Ademola Ishola came to live in. That's the house Dr. Shukwa Ayokunle came to live in. And all of them stayed 10 years in this house. That is the house I am in now.
Reverend Dr. Samuel Olaniran Fadeji succeeded Reverend Dr. S.T. Olakande as the General Secretary of the Convention in 1991. The leadership ushered in the Bible study and prayer session between the regular convention programs. Dr. Fadeji renewed the interest that led to the granting of license to start Bowen University. During his tenure, ordination of women was approved during the 1996 convention.
He made a reorganization of the convention departments. He was the one that merged the education department together, because up to then, we have the Sunday school department, we have the church training, who is now discipleship department, we have adult education department, students ministry department.
The establishment of Bowen University has been a plus to our work in actually reaching out to the socio-political and even economic trend in our nation.
Reverend Dr. Ademola Ishola served the convention as the first and the last General Secretary of the convention from 2001 to 2011. More conferences were created during the administration of Reverend Dr. Solomon Ademola Ishola, thereby growing the number of conferences to 30 from 21, which it was before his assumption of office. The introduction of evening rallies at the convention session under the leadership of Reverend Dr. S. Ademola Ishola added spiritual impetus to the annual convention in session.
In 2008, Dr. Ishola inaugurated the Social Ministries Department. By 2011, the convention itself approved that the social ministries be upgraded to the position of a department.
Partnership was made with Liverpool Open University, United Kingdom, that benefited Bowen University and the seminary in Ogbomoso, while some Baptist institutions in the Texas state continue to partner with the Nigerian Baptist Convention. In 2010, the Baptist Medical Center Ogbomoso changed to Bowen University Teaching Hospital.
The establishment of Bowen University has been a plus to our work in actually reaching out to the socio-political and even economic trend in our nation.
In 2011, Reverend Dr. Samson Olashopo Ayokunle succeeded Reverend Dr. Ishola. Ayokunle completed the process of the change of the nomenclature of the office of the General Secretary to Convention President and that of the Convention President to the Chairman at Lagos in 2012. Ayokunle's administration ushered in a quarterly vigil program tagged Baptist Night of Wonders, a program that brings all Baptists in Nigeria together to lift up their voices in worship and prayer unto God. Baptist Press Nigeria Limited was re-engineered and restructured for better services.
Baptist Press Nigeria Limited started somewhere in Port Harcourt in the late 50s and later incorporated on July 28, 1966 as a commercial print organization. Initially, it was established to serve the Nigerian Baptist Convention, produce their literature and other materials. So, over time, the company has been evolving, changing from one stage productions to other. By the grace of God, in 2022, we metamorphosed from Baptist Press to BP Productions.
Under Ayokunle's tenure, the Nigerian Baptist Convention's cable television, New Frontiers Television, was launched on 21st March 2013 for missions.
We have a media unit and we have a television station wherein We are able to propagate the gospel through television, New Frontiers television.
Also, the Baptist Table Water Company was established. During Reverend Dr. Ayokunle's tenure, the convention has grown into mega million, and the need for convention center that will bring all together under a roof arose. The establishment of 3 convention centers was approved.
The feeling that we have too many convention centers, we must reduce them. And to take up that there should just be 3.
One in the southwest, one in the north, and one in the east of Nigeria.
One in Lagos, that's the one that is in Ogun State. We call it more of Lagos because it's on the Lagos highway. And then one in Abuja and one in Owerri. Of course, not actually inside Owerri, but in Obinze. There is the land already.
In 2021, Reverend Dr. Israel Adelane Akanji became the 7th indigenous leader of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. He assumed office on June 1, 2021 as the president of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. In 1986, the Office of the General Administration Ministerial Office was established to handle ministerial matters and anchor ministerial board meeting, with Reverend J.A. Alabi as the first person to occupy the office. In 1995, Reverend C.A. Amadi assumed the office of the Assistant General Secretary Ministerial of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. Reverend Dr. Gold Ane assumed the office on June 1, 2007, the position he held for 7 years till he retired in 2014. Reverend Dr. Dixon Madoe assumed office in 2014 till date.
In 2008, the EC of the Nigerian Baptist Convention constituted a strategic committee to work on some salient issues, some gray areas in the Nigerian Baptist Convention. We made bold to decide to change the nomenclature from General Secretary to something else. After our discussions, President was adopted. And that is why today we have the head of the Nigerian Baptist Convention as the president. And we changed, before then, the chairman of the convention used to be called the president. The strategic committee also recommended that the president then should be known as the chairman. Today, we have the president as the head of the Nigerian Baptist Convention and the chairman as the one who directs the affairs at meetings of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. And that changed the nomenclature of the director of administration to vice president, admin, and resource personnel. It also changed the nomenclature of the finance director of the Nigerian Baptist Convention to vice president, finance and investment, and of course, vice president ministerial of the Nigerian Baptist Convention. All conference secretaries will now be known as the president of their respective conferences.
The office of the Vice President Ministerial is an extension of the President's office because the Vice President Ministerial steps into the position of President whenever the President is not available to perform the roles of the President. The work of the President is so enormous now that in several places his presence is required as the apex leader of the denomination. And so when his schedule is very tight, he has to push some to the Vice President Ministerial. The office of the Vice President Ministerial also across the Ministerial Board, which is the highest judicial body for the convention. If there's a conflict that is not managed at the local church level, at the association level, at the conference level, then it is the office of the Vice President Ministerial that will work with the Ministerial Board to manage the crisis.
The creation of the office of the Assistant General Secretary became a necessity because of the need to have a smooth administration whenever the General Secretary was out on official duties. The office was created in 1996, designed to be headed by a seasoned administrator. On July 1, 1996, Pastor S.S. Tama became the first admin officer. Pastor Tama set up the first administrative machinery for successful takeoff of the office. Mr. Marcus Audu, now Pastor Marcus Audu, assumed office as the second person to hold the position of AGS admin and personnel on June 1, 2008, and later as the Vice President admin and personnel after the nomenclature was changed in 2012. The position he held until 2018 at the end of his tenure. Deacon Musa Ubanduma became the Vice President admin and human resources in 2018 till date.
One of the things that the convention has invested in is training of our staff. And that training has not also stopped at the staff of the convention. We have trained the conference presidents. I've had trainings for them because they are the liaison officers of our convention. The convention has grown in terms of staff strength.
At the early stage, the convention depended only on the collection made during the annual session as income. In 1921, a resolution was passed that all churches having 20 members and above should pay a minimum of £1 to the convention fund per annum. In 1926, a budget of £50 was presented for the first time.
Over the years, the finances of the convention has evolved over different phases. When the first churches that met at First Baptist Church Idikam on March 11, 1914, it was agreed that they should start funding the center by levy. In 1949, a decision was taken to start paying to the center by percentage of collection. It was agreed that 10% should be paid to the center. That was moved up to 15% in 1955, and again, it was moved in 1962 to 20%. And we've remained on 20% since that time.
Finance and Investment Department is the financial engine room of the convention and has credibly discharged its responsibilities over the years. Between 1915 and 1975, NBC had honorary treasurers. Around 1976, the then treasurer, Deacon David Akurogunde, converted the position of treasurer from part-time to full-time. He was the first full-time treasurer. In 1983, Deacon Victor Durodola, a chartered accountant, was appointed as the convention treasurer.
Yes, I became the treasurer in 1983, in January 1983. It was a time when the convention was, I think the budget then was just about £1 million. So my first budget in 1983, it was in Kano, at the convention in Kano in 1983, for 1983. We presented a budget of about 1.2 million. That's about 20% increase in what was there before. And to the glory of God, the budget was not only met but surpassed. That had been the beginning of increases and increases and increases until what we have today.
Likewise, in 1986, the first convention internal auditor was employed in person of Mr. Emmanuel Babatunde Ajao.
I made a memo to the EC, and one of them was that we should start using audit firms to audit the accounts of the convention. And it was accepted. So that was how we started. One is just, it gives some credibility to the accounts and the finances. Because if an external body has come to look at it, then it gives people the confidence that if they say this is it, then it must be either it or almost it.
In the year 2008, Reverend Dr. Moses Adebayo was appointed as the first director of finance as against the nomenclature of treasurer. He is also the first vice president, finance and investment, when the nomenclature was changed in 2012. The position he held till 2018, Deacon Biodun Oloyede, became the vice president, finance and investment in 2018 till date.
The convention has been involved in real estate. We have investment properties that we use for rental service, and we use some for shopping complexes, for residential apartments. We have guest houses in Lagos, in Ibadan, in Jos, in Abuja, in Oyo. We have also ventured into Baptist Water. This is a factory of table water, which we are also trying to expand to ensure that there is a factory now located in Ibadan. In the past, we have ventured into educational institutions at different levels. That now we have about 15 or 16 secondary schools owned by the convention. We have tertiary institution, that is the Bowen University, owned by the convention. And all their grants to the convention has always been diverted towards mission development. And we also have a microfinance bank. Convention has also involved itself in HMO, which we started in 2019, 2020. We also do fund investment.
During Dr. Ayokunle's tenure, relationship with other denominations improved. The Nigerian Baptist Convention introduced Ecumenism Department to foster the good relationship with other Christian bodies. Reverend Dr. Testimony Onifade is the first and the current director of this department.
When Dr. Shukwayo Kunle came, that was a man who brought in a lot of things. For one, he was very ecumenical. So it was in the time of Shukwa Ayokunle that we really went out. By the time of Ayokunle, ecumenism had reached grassroots. You had CAN chairmen in wards, in local governments, in states, in zones, and the national. And he was so involved, he became national CAN president.
The Sunday School and Church Training Division has been in existence since 1854. In 1998, Reverend Dr. S. Olaniyan was appointed as the pioneer director. He served the department from 1998 to 2003. As the second director of the department, Reverend Dr. Jerry Akinshola assumed office in 2004 and served to 2014. Reverend Dr. Olushola Ayo Obiremi became the director from 2014 to 2019. Reverend Dr. Fuluke Ola assumed office in 2019 till date.
They are usually responsible for producing the materials that we teach and learn. Christian education help us with our daily encounter. They are in charge of our devotionals. They are in charge of our annuals, like Sunday school materials. They get them written. Publication goes to publish them, but these are the ones that do the writing. They do the thinking. They do the prayer to be able to get it written. So without literature, a Baptist church is almost stripped naked. Therefore, the Christian education is a very important aspect of our work. And we have a lot of materials, discipleship materials, training materials, teaching materials. We have what we call the annual Bible study that all churches uniformly should study a given portion of the Bible that the Christian education department will have facilitated. And it comes out in a booklet form. It goes around for us to study. Those who follow all these things, they will never lack in spiritual growth.
This was established in 1916 with the birth of the first magazine of the Baptist, The Dawn, with Dr. Mojola Igbebi as the editor. September 1922, Reverend G.W. Sadler was appointed as its editor, and Reverend J.R. Williams and Professor N.D. Oyerinde as the assistant editor. The former establishment of the department was on January 1st, 1967. The publication department and publishing board were merged with the Baptist Press on January 1976, and Deacon J.O. Opakunle named as the managing director, a position he held until his retirement in March 1978. After his retirement, the Baptist Press and the publication department was separated, and that is how it is till today. Reverend Rufus F. Akin Adetona was appointed as the publication secretary, and he was in turn succeeded by Miss Shelley and gone. After retirement in 2009, Reverend Dr. Jerry Akinshola acted as the director for 1 year and handed over to Reverend Dr. Femi Okunlola. Reverend Dr. Ijaola Adelokoji of blessed memory became the director in 2017 until his demise in 2022. Deacon Adenyaju was the acting director until when Reverend Dr. Busoye Adigun became the director.
Of course, we have some outfits that are like a little business-like the bookstore where we sell books, like the printing press, which we call BP Productions, where we print not only for Baptists, we print for non-Baptists who come to patronize us. We have all of those. We have the guest houses where we can receive guests. We give it out at very considerable cost, and people can have a good atmosphere for their hospitality concerns through us. So all of those things are there. We have a director, a department of health and medical services. And those ones help us in the area of health. You know, spirituality without a good body to carry it will also not fail. So just as we need to be spiritually sound, so we need to be physically sound, because your spirituality is being housed by the body.
The Baptist Women's Missionary Union was established on March 14, 1919, to build lives that will emulate the spirit of our Lord Jesus Christ and promote missions through the WMU organizations and the fundamental at home, church, and society at large. WMU was given an auxiliary status because of being a partner in mission effort and being an effective force in the social development of the society. WMU is currently being headed by Reverend Dr. Rachel Adekpate Olateju.
WMU started to build lives that will emulate the spirit of Jesus Christ and that we get involved in missions through our organizations, the Sunbeams, the GAs, the Lydias, and the WMS. We are well seated at home, training our people, discipling them, helping them to grow in the Lord. The Sunbeam, the GAs, the Lydias, the WMS, we meet regularly, we meet at least weekly. We meet weekly and we have our programs. And in our programs, we teach Sunbeam how to be good children to their parents. We teach the guest auxiliary how to be true, how to be strong, how to be faithful to Jesus Christ. When they get to Lydias, become WMS, they will be strong for the Lord.
The Global Missions Board was established in 1953 to awaken the Nigerian Baptist Convention members to their mission responsibilities of going, giving, and praying for the unreached. Reverend E.A. Udo was the first director of the reconstituted board in 1999. With retirement as director in December 2000, came in Reverend Israel Obiaje as acting director until April 2001, then as the full director in April 2001. Following the completion of Reverend Obiaje's 10 years, Reverend Steve Enyi took over the mantle of leadership. Reverend Dr. Femi Adewumi is the current director of the Global Missions Board of the Nigerian Baptist Convention.
It started in 1953, while our leaders, our fathers, our mothers then were going for the convention in session in Jos. They saw a lot of people in the bush, physically naked, presumably spiritually naked too. Their hearts were touched. And when they got to Jos, during the convention in session, they all agreed that as a convention, we have to do something about the plight of these people. Let's have a department that all of us will be supporting through a cooperative fund, and that will be doing the work of mission and evangelism on behalf of all of us. That's how the Mission and Evangelism Department was given birth to in 1953.
Global Missions Board, it was purposely for missions, for expansion, for growth, for reaching the unreached. We first started with all mission fields, and gradually also we started with the foreign mission field.
In 1990, we started Operation Reach All. And by that time, the churches are 3,200 churches. To the glory of God, by the time we finish Operation Reach All in year 2000, we have well over 9,000 churches in the Nigerian Baptist Convention.
Established in the late 1980s by volunteer Reverend Dr. A.O. Omoriseni, it was formally established as a department in 1998 with a mission to use social ministries as God's agent of transformation to assist and empower believers. By 1998, the convention organized art ministries and social ministries officially took off. In 2008, Reverend Dr. Ademola Ishola, the then General Secretary, separated the two ministries. Hence, in April 2008, at the convention in session, the ministry was recognized as as a separate division, and Reverend Dr. Titi Eniola became the first director after the separation, the position she held until retirement in 2022. Reverend Dr. Elizabeth Aderomu is the current director. This was established in 1961 as Men and Boys Department. In 1977, Reverend Dr. Samson Ola Olaniyan became the first indigenous leader of the office that was then called Men's, Boys and Youth Department. Later, the Men's Missionary Union became a department in the convention in 1998.
The MMU came into being in 1977. From beginning, the Men's Missionary Union of the Nigerian Baptist Convention in all our churches have been involved in discipling men of the convention, in building spiritual characters of men of the Nigerian Baptist Convention through our various discipleship programs. The MMU had been greatly involved in the apostolic mandates of the convention. In fact, presently, we are the one anchoring the foreign mission fields of the Global Missions Board of the Nigerian Baptist Convention.
The Medical and Health Service Department was established in 1969, and Baptists believe in healing by faith and medical care.
We have a director, a Department of Health and Medical Services. And those ones help us in the area of health. You know, spirituality without a good body to carry it will also not fail. So just as we need to be spiritually sound, so we need to be physically sound, because your spirituality is being housed by the body. And if the body, if you're a good singer and your voice is gone, you know, that means the physical part will affect the spiritual part. We need all to be balanced.
First Theological Seminary in Africa was built in Shaki in 1888 before it moved to Ogbomoso. Today, the seminary has expanded to Eku, Kaduna, and 7 other colleges of theology.
Many years, we had only 4 theological institutions initially. The Baptist Theological Seminary, Ogbomoso, Baptist Theological Seminary in Kaduna, and in Eku, and Obize. But over the time, God has sent the Nigerian Baptist Convention to operate 10 theological institutions. We now have 3 seminaries, 6 colleges of theology, as well as 1 pastor school in Gombe. The training at the Nigerian Baptist Theological Seminary of Ogbomoso and the other 9 theological schools of the convention, the training to give to pastors is in line with the biblical foundation, in line with Protestant Evangelical Baptist heritage, in line also with the ministry and revelation of the Word of God.
Baptist mission schools are one of the best, and Baptist Academy of Banekoro was the first secondary school which was established in 1851.
The Nigerian Baptist Convention are taking education beyond the secondary school level. We have tertiary institutions, especially the Bowen University.
The establishment of Bowen University has been a plus to our work in actually reaching out to the socio-political and even economic trend in our nation.
The Youth and Student Ministry of the Nigerian Baptist Convention is to cooperate with the Nigerian Baptist Convention in emphasizing its declared principle among the youths, and also to prepare the youth as a formidable force to take over the mantle of leadership for the next generation. As we celebrate the 110th anniversary, let us remember our roots, honor our pioneers, and look ahead with hope. The Nigerian Baptist Convention, the torchbearer of faith, is still shining brightly from roots to radiance. Our legacy continues. To God alone be the glory.